Hi, I'm Kristen Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Hi, Rachel Dratch.
Hello.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Nice to see you.
We are here at Are You a Charlotte? Thanks for listening and watching or whatever you're doing, you guys. It's good to be here. Rachel is here. We have a couple things to talk about, but technically we are here to rewatch an episode of Sex and the City from season 2. So kind of back in the day. It is called Was It Good For You? It's a very interesting episode. But also, those of you who watch all the shows would know that Rachel joined us on And Just Like That, which was really, really fun. She was in the episode Bomb Cyclone, which was a cool episode. Cynthia directed.
Yes. And let me just say, it was one of those moments, I watched Sex and the City back. It was my Sunday night ritual.
Oh.
So, I loved it and still do. But so then when I got the call that I was going to be, that was like a moment. I hate the term bucket list, but it was it was a bucket list moment.
Adorable.
So then when I walked in to the read through,
Yeah.
you don't understand. Maybe you do, because maybe everyone that comes in is like this. But I was just like, oh, I was having I was like, there's everybody. There's all the cast. And
It's a
it was
lot,
one of those,
right?
yeah. But
It's
it
a lot
was
of
like in
people.
the most fun way.
Good.
Everyone was really friendly. But it was also just like, anytime you're on something that you used to watch before you ever dreamed of making it. But anyways, so yes, that was very exciting.
It's hard for us. People do say this, and it's super interesting. For me, and you come from Saturday Night Live, which to me, there's nothing more intimidating or frightening or scary or I literally don't know how you guys do it. I technically know how you do it, but the idea of that pressure, wow. And every week creating that show and not knowing, having to prove yourself and, not get cut, the skid and oh, Lord. But the read-throughs are the closest that we come, because Michael Patrick is old school. He came from old school sitcoms, right?
Yeah.
So especially back in the day of, for instance, this particular episode we're going to talk about was in 1999, which is kind of funny to say, right?
Yeah.
like a long time ago. We would have our read-throughs back then, and they were at, have you shot at Silver Cup?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so adorable and weirdly old-fashioned.
Yeah.
We would have them in a room probably this size, a much smaller room back then. And if you didn't land a joke, in the read-through, that joke would get cut.
Right. Yeah.
And once we then did And Just Like That, we were off in just this huge room. So many people.
Yeah.
And we would have the iPads so that everyone back in LA at HBO could be watching. Did you notice that?
No.
There were iPads set up like this, semi innocuously, you know what I mean? But they're filming you for everyone back in La La Land to be watching, which was interesting. And then there'd be so many people at those read-throughs. And I would say to my younger pretend children, on the show, you guys really hit your jokes.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what do you mean? Because, it's a different world now, right?
Right.
And they'd just be so quiet over there in the read-through. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
don't get cut.
Yeah.
Don't get your stuff cut.
Right.
Yeah, but it's obviously you were fully on and wonderful, but they want to see it. They want to see it.
Oh, I didn't even realize that we were being watched from afar. But
I know.
It makes sense, I guess. But yeah.
I know, right.
Yeah.
The new technology is interesting. But it's better than having even more people in the room.
Right, that's true, yeah.
But it does have almost like a live theater element, those read-throughs.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yes.
And
that was my, dream come true.
I'm so
and then
glad.
I was in a scene with SJP. Can I call her that?
Yes.
No, I was in a scene with Sarah Jessica Parker. And I hate to say this because it's kind of unprofessional, but while I was in the scene, I was in the scene, but then there was also the other Rachel, I'm in a scene with Sarah Jessica Parker, So I was fangirling and trying to act at the same time. But it was super fun though, yeah.
And then you went for a drink, is this right?
Oh my
Did
gosh.
you tell the story?
This is so funny. So we were shooting in a hotel because it's big conference was the scene. And so then it was the end of the day, and Cynthia was directing, and Sarah Jessica Parker was like, well, I'm going to go get a drink at the bar, like end of the day. And she's like, do you want anything? And I was like, huh, because I get very like shy around my idols, like right now. But, no. But anyway, so she's like, do you want a drink? And I was like, oh, sure, I'll have a margarita, because that's my usual go-to.
Okay.
And then she was like, well, I'm going to get a Cosmo. And then I was like, oh, I have to get the Cosmo. It was like Make-A-Wish, like,
wow.
or some auction item, like, have a Cosmo with Sarah Jessica Parker. So I was like, I'll have a Cosmo. So then she came up with these styrofoam cups from the bar.
Styrofoam.
And I don't know why, but whatever. It was like the takeaway, something. But then the funny thing is, like, Cynthia, who I also, don't know well at all, like, who is the director, like, there I am on the set at the end of the day, just like boozing it up. And I wanted to be like, I've never done this. Because it seemed, I'm still holding my object cup.
I know.
Let me put that down.
That's right. But look, Sarah Jessica gave you the go-ahead. You're not in trouble.
I know, but I was a little bit like, I'm drinking on the job. It's kind of but I did get to have a Cosmo with Sarah Jessica Parker. Which that was a big moment for me.
Love it. And what was it like having Cynthia direct? Was that bizarre?
I mean, like, I don't know how the show usually works. So I was just, she was a good director, and she was giving me good notes, but nothing too like intrusive. So she did a great job in my opinion. But, I didn't know if she was directing there all the time. Like, I didn't know if that was her first time. Because, you're just like, when you come onto someone's set, you're just sort of like, I'll go where they tell me.
Of course. Of course.
Was that her first time directing? No. Okay.
Bomb Cyclone was not her first time directing. She had directed the episode where she has a experience with Che in Carrie's apartment.
In the kitchen
Yes.
scene?
She directed herself.
She directed herself in that.
Can you believe that? And then the next episode where I find out about it in the park and I yell at her, she also directed that.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I mean, directing your own sex scene.
I know.
That's a whole...
It's a situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
I know. She's so brave.
That would be difficult, I think.
know. She did so great, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great. Now, Michael Patrick was also around because when we went to the scene, first of all, this is something that happens frequently to me, which is bizarre. I would read a script and we would do the read through, of course, and I would perceive it as happening one certain way. Like for me, and this is more to do with me than to do with the script, I thought that scene where she has that interlude with Che and Carrie is in the bed because she's had her hip replacement thing or whatever it was. It's a hip replacement, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was going to be funny. But it really, really wasn't. Like it really, really wasn't.
No, it was very intense and serious.
And scary. Do you know what I mean? Like scary.
There were a lot of sounds from what I recall.
Sounds. And then like Carrie is so stressed.
Right.
And then she has to pee in a Snapple bottle. Do you remember this?
I forgot about that.
Right.
Okay.
See, when I read that seemed comic to me.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So then when it came out, I was like, whoa.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah, that could have been a comic thing.
Right? And then when the scene comes in the park where I find out, and I'm talking about ships sailing for some reason. I don't know why. I can't remember. Like, you know how you remember weird things about your acting?
Yeah.
Is this true for you?
Yeah.
Like you remember things that aren't necessarily the most important thing, right?
Right.
So we're outside, we're at Battery Park, and there are ships out in the ocean, and I'm comparing something to ship sailing. I don't know what. Maybe her and Eigenberg / Steve. I don't know, meaning Miranda and Steve.
Yeah.
And Michael Patrick's there. Cynthia is technically directing, so she set up the shot, she's set up the blocking, we've rehearsed all that stuff. I think it's kind of a Charlotte scene where I'm like, I mean, you're attracted to a non-binary person. It's a moment. It's not a big deal. Like, I thought it was like that, like Charlotte being like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
No. He comes to me, Michael Patrick, and he's like, yell at her.
Oh.
And he goes, you are the moral compass here. I was like, oh, I'm the moral compass. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, so you had to be all stern or something?
Well, I had to really...
I don't remember this, like, in this much detail, but...
I know, which is fine. You're not supposed to.
I mean,
We didn't
I'd like to think
rewatch
I
it.
have a card catalog.
No,
That's a very
no.
old reference.
It came to me because I was thinking about her directing, right? And it's so interesting
Like
because she was in the scene, right?
Right.
And I don't know in the scene if she would have told me to shout at her necessarily, right? But Michael was like just kind of whispering in my ear, like, you have to carry the weight of the moral reality that she has now kind of irrevocably broken her marriage to Steve.
Wow.
I know.
I was not looking at it with this like PhD
I'm glad.
thesis.
Me neither,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So like it's just one of those interesting things where like, yes, she was directing, but she was also in that scene.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like the little birdie in my ear to kind of in a way enliven that scene for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a way where when you're directing yourself, you can't necessarily do.
Right.
Though she probably would have done that because this is the thing that I remember. And Bomb Cyclone, definitely. So that was Bomb Cyclone. She directed the second season. She wasn't able to direct the third season because she was doing Gilded Age. And just like that at the same time, which was insanity.
Yeah.
But she's amazing, obviously, and can handle all of it. She really wanted to direct, and they were like, no, you're, there's not enough of you.
Yeah.
Bomb Cyclone, I remember she didn't have a huge storyline for herself in that. And so she directed us a lot. Yeah. I was like, Cynthia, it's so many notes. I can't remember. I can't remember. But you were perfect in the read through. I remember that. So you didn't need any notes.
Well, I had kind of a goofy part, so that was good for me.
It was
I didn't have to have an
amazing.
interlude in the kitchen, so
I mean,
I have no intimacy coordinator needed for my part.
I know.
Yes.
Thank God. But I love the whole like, what is your take on the character that you played, which is,
this is kind of funny. Like, so I just saw her as this. So I played this like event planner for Carrie's book tour, and I had set up. But then I come in and we had worked together long ago. We had tried to write a screenplay together that never got off the ground. But anyway, I come in like, remember me? And I'm like, so I just saw myself as a pest. So that's what I just saw myself as. But then and I kept using that word in my mind. I'm a pest. Then the cool thing is when I came in for my costume fitting, they had earrings for me that were houseflies. Because you know how they go, yes, I'm not saying anything new. Like they go wacky. Hey, guess what, guys? They take risks in the costumes. But they were houseflies,
That's
and they
hysterical.
also had a big insect necklace for me. And I was like, this is so like
I know
weird
Molly
pest.
and Danny are like on another level of
that was kind of incredible. Like, who even knew there were housefly earrings?
I mean,
so go back and look very closely at my ears in that scene, and you'll see.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
And so your character is named Carrie.
But I used to be named Karen, but I said not a good time for white women named Karen. So I go by Carrie now, like Kerry or something like that.
It was
like Carrie.
It was too funny.
Really trying to like make the connection.
Yeah.
With Carrie.
It was too funny. It was
Much
too
to her
funny.
annoyance.
I'm so glad. I think that I don't know the details because I'm not in the writer's room, but I think they wrote that hoping that you would do it.
Oh, well, yeah. I'll just believe that to be true. No, that was so fun. I'm so glad. There's some things like that you wish you could be on a certain show, and I never even dreamed of it. So that was a good call to get. Yeah. Yeah.
You know how you guys used to spoof us on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever play me?
No, it was so weird. I did a horrible. Christina Aguilera was the host, and I don't know when. No, she played Samantha, and I got sort of assigned.
Kristen played me.
Who did?
Kristen Wiig?
No, she wasn't on yet.
She wasn't on yet.
Maybe
she
was
played
Cynthia,
me later.
But I did not do a good impression.
You didn't?
No, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest here. Like, I'm like my impression's like if I see someone, I'm like, oh, I could do them. That's one thing.
Right.
But if you just get told like you're doing Cynthia Nixon, I just wasn't. I don't have that savant thing. So I just threw on the red wig and crossed my fingers.
I'm sure it was
I
fine.
forget who played you.
I forget who played me too because I feel like it happened more than once that they spoofed.
They probably
meaning you
did.
guys.
Maybe.
And I mean, it was like such a kind of an honor, really, to get spoofed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at one point, someone spoofed me wearing like a polka dot pussy bow, and I was like, "Well, that's all you have to do is just put on the blouse." I mean, it's fine.
I mean, I'm
you know
sure
what
they've
saying?
done many over the years.
Yeah.
Like maybe after I was there too. But that's the one I remember that Christina.
Oh, she was a funny Samantha.
And she just said, like, I think she came in like, well, I can do these people. And so like they
got
had,
it.
so
that
then
was
they
in
write
her
the scene. Exactly.
repertoire.
That's how that works.
I
Inside
get it.
scoop. Yeah.
That's cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is my other thing I want to ask you. So when you say that it was kind of amazing and interesting to come on a show you'd already watched, what was your experience of watching? Like, when did you start?
Oh my gosh. Well, I remember the fall of '99. It was my first season on SNL.
Oh, wow.
And so I had this like little apartment on the Upper West Side. And like there was a while where I had no furniture because the movers like lost my when I first got the job, you're like so excited. And I remember like in this little apartment with like just sitting on this little like mat, but I had the TV. And that was my Sunday night ritual. Like as soon as you hear that HBO like that chord, it just gives me a good feeling.
Aww.
And then like the opening music of it, like I feel like it just so encapsulated, life in your 30s.
Yeah.
Trying to make it in wherever, New York or wherever,
Yeah.
So it was definitely my like appointment television. But I must have watched when it first came out too, but that's what I remember.
It had only I think we came out in 98. It's just, this is the second season. So, and there were only 13 in the first season. And then we just like started just bam, 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 trying to get them made because people were watching.
Right,
Though we didn't really at this point. People keep coming to my podcast and telling me like, it was the biggest hit. I'm like, no, second season was not the biggest hit. I mean, it was for us, great, right? Because we didn't really ever perceive what was coming,
right?
Who could, right?
Yeah.
But then, to me, third season was when it kind of like bumped up.
Oh, okay.
It took time because HBO was kind of new to original programming and whatnot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think like women were like quietly watching it, you know what I mean? And then it just kind of built. And we were just talking to any press people who would ever talk to us. Like we were just like begging people, like, will you please talk to us? Which is funny to think about now.
Wow,
in the olden day media.
Because I was telling you, I just watched like 8 of them in a row on a plane. And I was just like, and some of them like, they're very poignant. Like some of them, they really get you, but they're also funny. Like that's what I love. I mean, I love anything that's like both things, I agree. Because also it's very hard to do. Yeah.
It's so hard to do this. And I don't think people necessarily realize, nor should they. I guess it's not their job, right? But like to be able, and I love that they allowed us to try to do all the different things,
Yeah,
and when you look back, especially in the beginning, in the beginning, there's just darkness. Like the men are just like, oh,
okay.
I mean, I felt when I watched it, at least. I mean, it really took me back in a bad way to the 90s. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the very beginning, which was really based on Candace's column,
right.
And as Candace told me when she came on, that was really based on people just telling her stuff.
Yeah.
Like people would come up to parties and be like, I did blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like kind of cool, kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like there's some.
But I love all the specifics you guys all hit on. Like, the guy who this and the guy. Like, you could tell that was from someone's real story, 100%. Which was also fun about it. Yeah.
Yes. So once we veer off from Candace's own column, it's our writers' stories or people they know. So there's a rule that it had to be only once removed. It couldn't be like someone heard something from someone. It had to be like my friend did blah, blah, blah.
That's
or
cool.
This happened to my friend. Yeah, which is, everyone thought it was our stories. Thank God. No, it would be very hard to act your own stories.
Right.
That would be very weird. Thank God. But there was a time where I remember we would, how you're just sitting there for so long on a set, like blah, 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 blah. And at a certain point, if the writers would walk up, we'd just stop talking. We'd be scared.
Wait, say that again? They'd say what?
We'd stop talking when the writers came.
Oh,
because we didn't want them to hear us saying anything.
Okay,
you know
I see.
I mean?
I thought you were being told to be quiet on the set.
Oh,
like
no,
I am sometimes.
Probably we were. Probably we were.
Because you were chattering
but you
so
know
much.
what I mean? We were chattering a lot. But if the writers came, we would just be like, oh, God.
We don't want this.
We don't want them to hear anything important. Stop talking. But it really was not us. Okay, let's talk about this episode. Because this episode, very interesting, as I was telling you when we walked in. There's some episodes I watch, and I remember so much. There's some episodes I watch, and I remember almost nothing. This is close to almost nothing. And I think it's because it's towards this end of the season. And you're so exhausted. And we would work all night long till the sun came up. So many days a week. Yes. Like certainly Thursday, Friday into Saturday morning. But then we would start Monday at 5 a.m. So it was, you were just trying to turn your sleep around. That's all you were trying to do, right? And like take care of your feet, you know.
Oh, and those heels.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was a lot. So this episode is called Was It Good For You? And it's directed by Dan Allgrant, which is also really interesting. He was a indie filmmaker, friend of Sarah Jessica's somehow, which I need to ask her how. I think this might be his second episode, which is cool, or third. And Michael Patrick King wrote this one, which is so nice. So he had come on first season, and then he's like writing more and directing more as time goes on. And at some point, he basically takes over. And so many men are in this. I'm not even going to name them. We'll name them when we get to them. So this whole episode is so sad, and I didn't remember the storyline at all. This is a very sad storyline for Charlotte because the whole episode starts with Charlotte having sex with some guy we've never seen in her bed. Turns out he's asleep. He falls asleep when they are having sex. What on earth? I mean, I was shocked. Do you remember this?
Well, I don't remember seeing this one back when, but I did my homework.
Oh,
so
thank
I
you.
just
Thank
watched
you, Rachel.
it. Yes.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah. So, but I didn't remember.
I don't remember this either. I mean, wow, sad.
Yeah.
And sad for Charlotte.
Yes.
And then very soon we see Charlotte just having like a whole little breakdown in Carrie's apartment. And Carrie trying to be so nice to her and saying like, oh, was he just, and also the guy. So I'm like making little sexy noises, whatever. And then I'm like, what's his name? Kevin Flynn is his real name. Bram Walker.
Oh, yeah,
is
Bram.
Dr. Bram Walker.
The orthopedist. The orthopedic surgeon.
Yes.
Something like that, yes.
And that's his whole thing he's saying is, I was up at 5 in the morning.
Right.
I have a very hard job. At some point he says he had 3 carpal tunnel syndrome, Surgeries, thank you, that's the word. And then someone else wrote in my notes that they take like 20 minutes, which is kind of funny. But he's fallen asleep, which really, I cannot really actually imagine that this could happen, but I guess it must have happened to somebody.
I guess so.
And if that has happened to you out there, I'm really sorry. I feel like that really would be painful to one's ego. Don't you think?
I would imagine so, yes.
Right? I can't even, it's weird. It's interesting. I mean, it must have happened to someone because it ended up in here.
It's funny because when I was watching this, I wasn't even thinking of it as so bad because in the context of everything that happens on the show, this seemed like
that's a
little
good
more
point.
tame.
That's a good point.
That's
a good point. It is a little bit innocent in a way. That's true.
But,
in a good
but
kind of
Charlotte was
way.
upset.
Well,
yes.
I mean, it's just hard to, if you really think about it, it's hard to really imagine this happening. It would be weird. I feel like you'd be like,
I guess it would depend if it was like a one-time thing.
Right.
Or a constant thing. And then you would be a little more concerned.
That's for sure. I also think it's because they're dating, right? It's not even like when you've been in a relationship for a lot of time.
Right.
It should be exciting.
True. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Theoretically, it should be exciting.
Yeah.
But so what I this is one of the things I love when I'm rewatching. I just like to carry a storyline through, right? Rather than switching back and forth like how the show does. So one of the things, we cut to Carrie, what's my name? Charlotte's telling Carrie about it and crying so upset, very Charlotte. And Carrie's being so sweet, her little sweet, when people talk about this whole thing that happened really during COVID, I think about Carrie's not a good friend, Carrie's a narcissist. Did you see all that?
Yeah, and I was like, I never bought into that.
Me neither.
I'm Team Carrie.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't even get that.
I know. I agree, 100%. It seemed really odd to me. I mean, I do think too, the internet is its own animal, and it just does some weird stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then everyone jumps in.
Yeah, I don't get how that came up.
Me neither, because in this particular scene, there's so many instances, especially way back where, she's such a sweet friend.
Yeah.
She's just trying to make me feel better. She's trying to make me tea. She didn't know what else to do. And then I say, did anyone ever fall asleep having sex with you? And she's like, well, we'll know. It's really so sweet. And then the thing that I really love, and I do remember this part, is that Charlotte's solution or, plan for this is that she needs to take a tantric sex class. Yes. Right?
Yes.
And I do remember in the 90s, there was a fair amount of conversation about tantric sex. Do you remember this?
I don't.
No?
I mean, what I mean is like not particular the 90s. Like I've heard this
Over time.
concept. Yes. Yeah.
Got it. I remember in the 90s, I think because also I was in LA, right, where yoga
right. Okay, yeah.
was booming. And so the tantric sex kind of comes out of yoga.
Yeah.
So
I remember hearing Sting practices this.
100%.
Not to go off topic
that was
here,
a big, no.
Shout out
I
to
think
Sting
that's how most
and his
people
staying
know.
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Very impressive.
We've all heard about Sting.
Sting, man.
Anyway,
we're
okay,
impressed, okay?
Sorry to go off.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Interrupt anytime you want.
Okay.
I think that's how people know about tantric sex was Sting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I feel like was later, but who
Yeah,
knows?
I think it was
all,
later, yeah.
I mean, I knew people who I don't know if I'm not going to say their name, but I knew I trained as a yoga teacher in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At Yoga Works when there was only one
Yes.
Yoga Works on Montana. Did you ever go there?
No, I went to one here.
Yeah, because now
Back
they're
in the day.
everywhere.
Okay,
Now
yeah.
They're everywhere, which is amazing.
Oh.
But this is back in the 90s. It was before I started working a lot. I was auditioning a lot, which is really hard, obviously. And my solution to the stress of that was to go to yoga every morning. That was like my,
That's good.
like how to get through it. And then I thought, well, gosh, maybe I should just do this because I loved it. But at that point in time, this was early 90s, people thought that yoga was a religion. Like they still didn't really realize, no, it's something that you can just do for your body and your mind. And it's not a religion. They're still kind of woo-woo, to use your word.
Yes.
It was woo-woo. I told Sarah Jessica that you were coming on and that you had a podcast. And she said, what's it called? And I said, I think it's called the woo-woo, or maybe it's woo-hoo. So we had a conversation about whether it was woo-hoo.
No, it's woo-woo.
Woo-woo.
Yeah.
I love it. Because I am the queen of the woo-woo in our group.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I've done all the things.
By the way, I noticed that on your Wikipedia that you're a Pisces and your birthday's the day after mine, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The Pisces queens.
Yes.
I
Anyway,
love
I'm
it.
really taking you off topic in many ways.
Rachel,
Yes.
I love
Okay.
to go off.
Okay.
And Drew Barrymore, too.
Yes, she and I have the same birthday.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. I love it. The Pisces queens.
Yes.
We all need to do woo-woo things.
Right. That's
It
why
rhymes.
we're very woo-woo, because
Yeah,
we're
babe.
Pisces. Yeah.
Right? We just
I think
gotta
that's the
embrace
most
it.
woo-woo sign there
It is the most woo-woo
Yeah.
sign, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm proud of it. I don't
Yes.
mind. Let's be woo-woo.
Yes, let's.
Right?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. I'm so glad. Okay, we got that done.
Okay.
Back to so I always wondered, I remember when this was happening and I wondered, because also we would all sometimes do yoga in scenes. Do you remember those episodes?
Yeah.
Like there's one where all four of us are doing yoga.
Yes.
There's one where Carrie and I are doing yoga. And I don't know if that was me related, because I think I did talk about it kind of incessantly, but also it was very much like the new thing at the time.
Yeah.
So the tantric sex thing, I remember this part because it was one of those scenes where we're just like, oh my God, how are we ever going to get through this? Charlotte signs all the girls up to go. It's not their idea, it's her idea. And I have to beg them at the coffee shop, like, please come. And even Samantha agrees to come. And they come, and there's this lovely, yes?
Oh my God, no, the casting on the people was so perfect.
It was so good, right?
It was like chef's kiss, perfect.
100%, and not easy to do.
No.
I remember the stress of like, who is going to be teaching
And who's going to be receiving,
Yes.
or whatever you want to call it,
right,
demonstrating.
Totally.
Oh my God, that guy was like the perfectly cast
I know, and I remember
New York character.
100% at the time. I am like, we are all so mortified, so mortified that these people, these older actors have come onto our show to do this insane thing. When I watch it now, I really enjoyed watching it, partly because I remember that we could barely get through it. Like, it's one of those things you can barely get through. Like, Sarah Jessica is laughing her real self.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, me too. And I am trying to be my best Charlotte self. I'm taking those notes, man. I'm like in it to win it. You know what I'm saying? Which I love. Like, to me, that's very kind of quintessential Charlotte. I'm also telling them to be quiet, which I love so much. I'm like, shh,
Yeah.
Which is really enjoyable. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And they're all over there like kooking up, and the lady has to tell them to stop laughing. And Samantha is also so sweetly, because of her own storyline, which we'll get to in a second, she's so sweetly kind of engaged and like rooting for them in a way.
Yeah.
And then Sarah Jessica / Carrie is just laughing her head off. And then Cynthia, my producers reminded me that did you ever know that Michael Patrick did a writer's podcast of And Just Like That?
Oh, I haven't listened to it, but I've heard that he does. Yeah.
It's really good, and it's very in depth in terms of the writer's room and what they were thinking more for And Just Like That.
Yeah.
It didn't do one for Sex and the City, though I wish they would, because that would be super interesting. And we went on when it was the 25th anniversary, I think, of the show. Sarah, Cynthia, and I went on his podcast. And we relived the scene. Oh. I don't know why it came up, really random. But one of the reasons it came up, I think, was like there haven't been that many times where different people have consistently broken, right? Like for Sarah Jessica to break is very rare, very, very rare, right? And this was one of those times. Like she could not stop laughing.
Oh, my God.
And then Cynthia has to have the...
yes. The substance.
Well,
maybe not the substance.
The substance. So, yes, what should we say?
I don't know.
We go to the tantric sex class, which I believe, is just going to be this lady describing things to us, and she does do that. But then at a certain point, she brings out her husband, who is this ponytailed, lovely older man. And he lays on a pillow in front of us, and she does the lingam massage, I believe she calls it, which is like, woo! And our heads very carefully. At one point, my booklet that I'm taking my notes in blocks. There's very creative blocking of any kind of private parts, which I remember was a lot of the stress of filming that, separate from the fact that we couldn't stop laughing. But then, so the massage goes on for quite some time. I mean, quite some time, right?
Yeah.
And we're all doing our different, Charlotte's taking notes and trying to figure out what the lady's doing. And Samantha's like, go, girl, and Carrie's laughing. And Miranda's leaning forward like, well, this is very interesting. And then all of a sudden, the man comes. I guess I can say that. I can say whatever I want. I guess we could bleep it. And it hits Miranda in the face. And it was a very kind of one of those very low tech, but also precise prop type situations.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
What was that set up?
It's Jergens lotion.
Okay.
Yes.
And was someone there with like a
spoon?
I don't know. A
Correct,
spoon?
a
Okay.
spoon.
I was wondering if it was more of like a Nerf gun situation or something.
It was a spoon flung, and he was under the camera. It was Travis, our incredible prop guy, who really just kept our lives together at that point in time. And he's like under the camera, and he has to just aim the spoon just right at Cynthia's head. God love him. And it hit her hair and her nose, and she did not break.
Wow.
At all.
Wow, that's a professional.
Crazy, right?
I mean, you all are professionals, but coming from someone who breaks, I don't know what I would do in that, but wow.
Honestly, I don't know what I would do in that either. And I remember the stress of it all, right? Like the stress of having to theoretically watch this, and this man is laying there, and just obviously he wasn't doing what he's pretending to do, but I mean, it was just very stressful. And I feel like we were there for a while doing it.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? But the thing that I love also, just to finish this storyline, and I had fully forgotten this, is that then when Miranda is back at home, she's bought these beautiful sheets that were really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And she's sitting there reading a book, and there's all these tissues next to her. And Carrie's voiceover just says something like, back at Miranda's, things were going better because, well, I don't know, whatever. She says, things were nice on her nice sheets. And you're like, what are all those tissues doing? Is she crying? I thought, is she reading a sad book? Is she crying? No, she's dabbing her hair and her nose still.
Oh, okay.
Just in case. Just in case.
To remind you.
Yeah, I'm sure she showered and everything, but she's still just like multiple dabbing, which is so adorable. I'd forgotten all that. I only really remember out of this whole episode us with the couple at the tantric sex, which then also really reminds me, and I'm just going to go out of order because it's fun. These two gay men want to have sex with Samantha because they've never done it, and they think she's the hottest, most beautiful straight woman they know, and they want to have sex with her, which is adorable. So she's walking down the street, she's talking to Carrie about it, and Carrie's like, but they're gay, very Carrie. And basically Samantha says to her, for a sex columnist, you are not very progressive, which is true. Then she says something like, you are not with the times. The future of sexuality is that everyone will be pansexual.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
In 1999, she says that.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of true?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we've come a long, long way.
Yeah.
Like the whole dichotomy, gay, straight, like that's pretty much done.
Right,
Like there's many options.
Right.
Which I think there should be. Even though in certain ways our culture is not moving forward, in that way it seems to be potentially moving forward.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Samantha was on it.
Yeah. That's something you would hear now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was very impressed. But it doesn't go so great with the gay men.
No, it doesn't. They lose their will to be with a lady.
They lose their will. And the thing that really made me laugh, so here we have this like tantric sex thing where our heads are all very carefully blocking, the private parts. But then in the scene where Samantha does go to potentially have sex with the two gay men, even though she's very on the fence about it, but then they're so complimentary and like, you're amazing, you're amazing, you're amazing. She's like, oh, okay. And then they kiss her on the neck and everything's going fine. And then they very, very delicately go down her body, but she's wearing this nightgown and it's extremely like almost conservative the way they filmed it.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Because in reality, they get to the private parts and they're like, no. Right?
They're like, I can't do this.
No.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that's not for us.
Right.
But they don't show, of course, anything. Like nothing. You have to just fill it in with your mind.
Yes.
What's happening, know? Which I thought was interesting. But I also feel like if it was a lot.
I think the way they filmed it almost made it seem more like psychological than like physical.
Right.
Even though the implication was it was like, we're backing out of this, this general area. 100%.
100%. And I think it could also have been, I don't know what the writers were thinking, but like, we don't want to offend our viewers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we want to be tasteful.
Right.
In that way, at least, right? And I felt like it was.
And that was kind of comical, too. Like, the way that those guys acted was, I thought they were pretty funny.
They were pretty funny.
Their whole, like, I can't do this was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny because they just wanted them to get on their clothes and go get food or whatever.
Yeah.
It was cute.
I forgot
it was
about that.
Really cute.
Yes.
And they also kind of look weirdly like twins.
They did. They looked so similar.
Right?
Yes.
Which I'm sure was on purpose.
Yes, it had to be.
Yeah. And I feel somehow
maybe
that we've run into one of them. Like, I think one of them is a friend of somebody's or something. Because I feel like sometimes they talk about it. Either, let's see, Sean or Brad have so many men. So many men are listed as guest stars, which is pretty common. Yeah. But I feel, yes, they look very familiar, though I didn't remember the storyline. This was a fun episode because I was like, what's going to happen? I don't know. I like it. I like to have that,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny to think that my body and my spirit and my mind and whatever was there, but I don't remember.
Right.
It's kind of scary. But interesting. You guys, this is so much fun that we are going to have a part 2. So join us later in the week on Are You a Charlotte?